Asseyez-vous. We're ready to begin this afternoon's panel. Each of the panelists is going to speak for approximately 18 minutes to the best of their ability so that we can leave time for questions. On the panel will be Dr. Sergey Kurginyan. We will have Daniel Pipes. We will have William Banks. We will have Reuven Paz. We will have Michael Braun. Each of them will be introduced individually. And it's my pleasure to begin this afternoon's deliberations with Dr. Sergey Yevandovich Kurginyan, and I will read his biographical sketch. I can promise you one thing about Dr. Sergey. He's powerful, and he's dynamic, and he's exactly the kind of speaker that we want after lunch, so that none of you sleep while on guard duty. Otherwise, you will be relegated to this base. This used to be an Air Force base. You may have to spend Shabbat at the base here. So nobody falls asleep. Okay? Dr. Sergey Yevandovich Kurginyan was born in Moscow on November 14th, 1949. He received his MSc in geophysics from the Institute of Geological Prospecting. His MA is in theater directing at the Shukin Drama School, and he earned his PhD in physical and mathematical sciences. To date, his professional career includes president of the International Public Foundation Experimental Creative Center, editor-in-chief of the journal Russia 11, and chief producer of the Theater on the Boards. In 1993, he established the Russia 11 Journal, and in 1990 established and came to head the Experimental Creative Center. Among the center's principal research programs are the political philosophy of transitional social processes, the security of Russia's resources, the religious and cultural challenges to the Russian statehood, macro-regional and local regional processes, political, economic, scientific, and cultural elites, and principles and technologies of unsteady systems management. Dr. Yevandovich is the author of the books The Seventh Scenario, The Power and the Opposition, Lessons of Bloody October on the Events of October 1993, The Russian Question and the Future as an Institution, and has co-authored Post-Perestroika, The Field of Counteraction. He has written more than 150 articles in Russian for the foreign press. In the 1980s, he gained prominence by staging underground experimental theater in Moscow with his Theater on the Boards, Theater na Doshka. Dr. Yevandovich is married and has one daughter. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll try to do my best. So such recommendation and the problem of dinner, or I beg your pardon, of lunch, is very important. I know that I must do my best. But, everybody will sleep. Yes. Why? I want to discuss the problems of ideology and security together. And I'll try to explain what's happened really and why all the problems which are connected with technical things are so successful, but the political situations decreases and decreases and decreases. What's happened? Karl Marx said, once the idea has gripped the masses, it becomes a material force. Isn't it true? Having gripped the masses, Islamism becomes a material force. This is global transformation number one. But there is also global transformation number two. What is it all about? Our civilization is increasingly rejecting the idea as a material force. Instead, it speaks about the death of ideology, the death of a project, and the death or the end of history. Now, let's take into consideration one very important moment. Global transformation number one and global transformation number two are coexisting on the common global stage. The common stage is a kind of a boxing ring where one hero will lose and another one will win.
In mathematics, they call it a zero-sum game. Since this is a zero-sum game, the transformations do not exist by themselves. They are tied into the S system. Hence, we have no right to discuss separately what global transformation number 1 is and what is global transformation number 2. The reason they don't exist by themselves. We have rather to put the question in such a way: what is global transformation number 1 as part of the S system, and what is global transformation number 2 as the other part of the same system? So what's the correct answer? If each of the transformations are regarded as a part of the one common system, the correct answer is as follows. Global transformation number 2 is the sale of a certain commodity. Global transformation number 1 is the purchase of the same commodity. But what is the commodity? In the language of Bill Gates, this commodity is called non-material corporate assets. Do those who created states have anything similar in their vocabulary? The word ideal or the ideology exists in their language. They use the word project, be it the Zionist project or the modern project that belongs to the old Western civilization. They use the word history. The philosophers will say that the commodity in question is called the content. The priests will call it the birthright, Chora. Let's suppose that the state, or even the whole civilization, equals a corporation. This is not so, but let's suppose this. What does it change? Try and suggest that the boss of a corporation should separate material assets from the non-material one. They will spit you in the face. Even Krupp will, let alone Bill Gates. Something that neither Krupp nor Gates will buy even for their corporations is offered by Fukuyama for Western civilization. And please pay attention. There exists no common stage for Fukuyama. How about it? We talk about the death of the Zionist project are variations a la Fukuyama. What's a Zionist project? This is the idea that gripped the Jewish nation and become a material force. This is the idea that created Israel. Okay, the Zionist project has died. As a relief, the Fukuyama's supporters in Israel, they must be thinking that there is no Hamas, but it does exist. And while in Israel, they are discussing the death of the Zionist project, which is a special case of global tendency number 2, in Palestine, they are fighting for the world Islamic project and the death of Israel. There is one Russian song, and goes like this. It so happens that what someone lost, somebody else will find. When our civilization loses, the enemy finds. The ancient Rome lost the idea which gripped the masses and found death. The Zionist project is part of the modern project. The discussion of its crisis is part of a more general discussion. This discussion is about the death of national state, about the death of ideology. The supporters of Fukuyama are dealing for a fall in this issue. Contrary to that, Bin Laden is dealing for a rise with the issue of caliphate, with the world Islamic project that is incompatible with modern and wants to destroy it. Confrontation between Israel and Hamas is the reflection of the world process. And one should clearly understand the following. What Fukuyama loses is found by Bin Laden. The supporters of Fukuyama know the price of oil. Do they consider the price of words? They don't think it's important. But I will prove that words mean a lot. I suggest that we concentrate it our attention on the following three words: history, content, and birthright. Hurrah! I will start with the word history. Marx was an atheist, but he was thinking as a representative of a great religious culture. His statement that the idea, what has gripped the masses, becomes a material force, has three non-trivial components. Number one, the idea. Number two, grips. Number three, the masses. Why I am talking about a great religious culture? What does the verb to grip mean? God, the idea, reaches out to people, the masses, and the people, the masses, strive for God. What gripping is all about? This is a two-way motion. It brings about a great symbol. What is in the center of this symbol? To answer the question, let's once again analyze the origin of the symbol. As we see, history unites the idea and the masses, transforming the idea into predestination and the masses into the people. Thus, in the center of a great symbol, there are triunity: predestination, history, people. As we see, the concept of the end of history disrupts the triunity and destroyed it. Because if history disappears, predestination and people will follow suit. But what is a state then? What is the sense of the state? What is the content of this so familiar term, the state? The state is what helps the people to maintain and develop their predestination. If there is no ideology and project, there is no predestination. If there is no history, there is no maintenance and development. If there is none of this, there is no people. So what is the state? Is it a corporation where the population is a shareholder, and the goal of corporation is to bring them prosperity? What is if the shareholder will prosper more when Jerusalem is given away? Let's consider such example. Now about prosperity. Very important thing, prosperity. There is one Russian joke. I beg a pardon for it. A Chechen has caught a goldfish. The fish begs to life and promises to fulfill his three wishes. It says, yesterday a Jew caught me. He asked for a villa, a yacht, and $1 billion. And I fulfill all his wishes. The Chechen responds, I have 3 wishes. As well, tell me the name, the address, and the phone number of this Jew. The one who decided that he wanted a pottage of lentils and thought his birthright should be prepared that the pottage will also go to Bin Laden or Ahmadinejad. Tell it people, they think they can lose idea and have prosperity. If they lose idea, they'll lose prosperity too. Bin Laden will take it, and they'll give him phone number, address, and name. Birthright is an important religious word. Its secular equivalent is the word content. There is content and there is form. Usually the content creates the form, and the form develops the content. This is a normal correlation. And there is an abnormal correlation when the form denies the content, and the content fades or dies away. This is a real ontology. Marx and Hegel's followers called it a transformer form, verwandelte Form in German. The diff of ideology, project, and history means the fading away of the content. This, in turn, generated pathology in the relationship between the form and the content. Is it too abstract? Not at all. There is the essence of the present Middle Asian processes, as well as of the whole world processes. The late included devaluation and revaluation, selling and buying, loss and discovery. I will prove that we are talking about very practical issues here, and I will do that in a form of an imaginary dialogue between global Islamism and the West. The dialogue is quite realistic, in fact. Islamism asks the West, what can you do to us? What can you do? The West answered, I will destroy your armies. Islamism, what next? If you can destroy our armies, this is serious. You are strong, we respect force. But to gain our real respect, become really strong, send another 600,000 soldiers to Iran, send more troops to Iraq, get ready for something similar in Pakistan, become the new Rome. It will cost you only a 3 million army of land forces and manpower losses of 10-20,000 a year. This is not too much for us. How about you? The West. That is unacceptable for me. I have to face election. I have to keep well-being and comfort in my state. My society is a consumer society. I have the death of ideology and project on my hands. There is the end of history for me. Islamism. Then, which force are you talking about? We are not blind, are we? We see the growing power of China. Why should we believe that you are strong? Look what Ahmadinejad doing to you. Declare war. Call an army. The West says. Elections, consumer society, I can only bomb. And even that, on the eve of election, for the sake of the TV picture. Islamism. What will you get then? If you do to Ahmadinejad what you have done to Hussein, everybody will scare. But if you just throw bombs and know nothing else, Ahmadinejad will be happy. What is happening in Iraq only helps Iran. Iraq has a Shia majority. What are you doing? Are you making us weaker or stronger? Forget your consumer society. You have no other way out. The West. I cannot. Islamism. What are you going to do then? If you stay in Iraq and fail to change the situation there, you will lose the election. If you leave, it will be a historic fiasco. The West. I will try to save my population from the feeling of this fiasco. Islamism says. Your population will not have the feeling. All right. You will use propaganda, television. It will be my population that will feel and know. And when it does, bin Laden will become a new Chinggis Khan. You understand it? The West says, maybe yes, maybe no, well, maybe will, but not right away. New elections are approaching. Islamism. By the way, what you do want from us? What do you want from us? We understand why Caesar came to Gallia. What have you come with? You are strong and we are prepared to reckon with it. But make it offer that we cannot refuse. All depends on whether you have substantial offer. Islamism goes on with this question. Do you have a project? Will you integrate us into it? Will you function in the logic of modernization? Go ahead, act. Implement industrialization, build factories and send peasants to them. Implement a deep cultural transformation. Liberate women. Clothe them in secular clothes. Take them to secular schools together with other illiterate. Separate the state from the religion. Secularize everything. Destroy the traditional society with mercy. For this purpose, build an occupation or local dictatorship. A special type one, a development dictatorship. We oppose you, and you shoot, and shoot. And your press and TV will disclose your cruelty, and you are ready for it. Don't you see? We are a traditional society. Are you ready to destroy us? Are you ready to build an industrial society in its place? If you are, this is serious. This is the Turkish scenario to the whole Islamic world. That will be the solving of the problem, of your problem. Are you ready to pay for it? The West response, the price is too high. Islamism. Then why you are here and what do you have to offer? We thought you have content. You don't. Then what do you suggest? The West response. And not through Fukuyama, but through prominent, liberal, and even conservative politicians. I don't offer content. I offer form without content. I offer a wonderful form. It is called democracy. Islamism grins. Way to go. We have a traditional society. You have injured but not modernized it. We are very glad about it. Now you are holding free election. We rejoice even more. You will freely elect, we will freely elect Hamas in Palestine, Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, and Hizb ut-Tahrir in Uzbekistan. Having elected them, we will freely discuss how to destroy your civilization. You exoded Rome, and you will help us to do it. If you ask me to summarize in brief what is needed to develop a strategy, and without strategy will be no victory, I just repeat the same imaginary dialogue. It is not a joke as certain cultures and other certain conditions, democratizations, becomes Islamic radicalization. Bin Laden needs Fukuyama. He wants to enter Rome on his shoulders. And we must reverse this tendency. The only thing we must do it if we want to live here, in Russia, in America, in Israel. We'll do it. We find will for it. We find leaders for it. We find ideology. They said our ideology is deaf. They will be deaf, and our ideology will be alive. Thank you.